Hi, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Megan. I'm a registered nurse, a new travel nurse, and I just wanted to share some information with you guys. When I started looking into traveling, there weren't that many videos out there. Two or three really good, informative ones, and I was seeking some information that wasn't in pages and pages of nursing blogs, charts, nursing websites, nursing agency websites that try to persuade you one way or another and give you an idea of what travel nursing is. So in this video, I'm going to try to keep it short and maybe make a few so you can spend more time on what is really relevant to you. I would like to go over what travel nursing really is, what it entails, how to start looking for your agency, how to start approaching stepping into that travel nurse role, talking about what you really want out of your travel experience, and overall the benefits to being a travel nurse. So first I'll start off with a little bit more about me personally. So I'm 26 years old. I've lived in New Jersey most of my life. I spent a little bit of time in Philadelphia for nursing school. I have my bachelor's. I'm an RN, if I didn't say that already. And this is my first travel experience. So I am actually day one on assignment right now. It was day shift. I'm going to be moving to night shift, and my specialty is cardiac telemetry. So I've been a nurse for about 3.5 years. And my experience was predominantly in the hospital setting, acute critical care, and more recently, even home care. So I decided to move from that and look into traveling because it was going to allow me to have the life that I wanted, which was to see a little bit more of our country, maybe experience places that I may not have a chance to later on in my life. I'm looking to enjoy nursing again and do it on my own terms. So travel nursing really provided me with a paid vacation, if you will. It allows me to live where I want to live and still make pretty decent money, save enough so I can find, where it is that I want to settle down and buy that dream home and be sure of it. So let's talk about some more benefits to travel nursing. Some things that you hear, okay, well, the pay is great, they pay for your housing, they give you travel expenses, they pay for your license in different states. Some of these things are true, but take it with a grain of salt. Each company will lay out pay packages for you. You can ask them to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. They're used to it, and they'll happily provide it with you if they're being transparent. So you can evaluate each pay package and decide what works best for you. A good friend of mine said, Megan, this is your first assignment. Maybe you're making it based on the ability to go and live where you want to live, and it's not as financially beneficial this time. But next time around, I might be able to have more of a financial benefit. It's just being completely honest. So I will lay a little bit more of that out for you. Before I forget to tell you, right now I am in New England. I won't say exactly where, but I'm south of Boston, and this area is absolutely beautiful. I've only ever visited Boston once before. It was a couple years back. It's now late September, so it's getting cold up here. It's very nice. I love it. So let's talk more about the agencies and what you can ask of the agencies. First of all, you are interviewing them. And I really want you to think of it that way, because when you start thinking that you're the one being interviewed, first of all, it puts a lot of stress and pressure on you, as any interview would, but you're shopping your agent, and you want to make sure, not just, I don't want to say generically they're the right fit, but they're benefiting you, and it's what do you want to get out of it. If one agency, for example, has more jobs on the East Coast, and that's where you want to stay, then the chances are you're probably going to get closer to the area you want to be in if you go with that agency. That should be really one of your first questions. Where's your home base? Where do you work out of? Are you Eastern Standard Time? So you know when you can communicate with them, when you can reach out to them. But on that initial phone call, they should be upfront and honest with you. I spoke to an agency out in California, based out of California, and they shared that most of their jobs were out on the West Coast. And it just so happens that right now that's not what I'm looking for. So I have her contact information. She was super friendly, and I can consider using her in the future. I don't need to completely shut down that connection. I'll keep it in my back pocket for later, and she might be a good resource. But as far as looking more on the East Coast, it wasn't what I needed right now. So I made a little bit of like a Word document spreadsheet to kind of have each agency compared side by side. And I probably called about 7 different agencies and spoke to one of their nurse recruiters, because that's who you want to ask for. It'll get you through that initial person that you reach on the phone in reception. Tell them, you're a nurse calling. You'd like to speak to one of their recruiters about possibly working with their agency. So another question you might want to ask your agency is, are you willing to provide housing for me? How does that work? The answer to that most likely will be yes, and we provide free housing. But as one of the great agents that I did speak to and had a very candid conversation had said, nothing's for free. And that's really true. They're taking it out of one area of your allotted sum of money, and they're putting it in another area. So you might see the money up front, you might not see it at all. Housing reimbursement is based on having a taxable home that you can claim. So you already pay taxes on a residence, so therefore you're entitled to a government stipend. This is what I understand from gathering some information, so don't hold me to it 100%, but so you've paid your taxes, and because I was leasing from my parents and paying them, it still falls under that umbrella. So I'm entitled to a government stipend based on the area that I choose to live in. They give you a certain amount. Sometimes it's a little bit more for more urban areas, places that are more popular destinations. So that's a tricky question, but it's a good way to get them talking, see if they are being honest with you. What are they willing to tell you? Are they being transparent? And I was writing all of this down. Everything that they said had its own designated box on my Word document, and then I took it and I compared it to the next agency. I have to be honest, one of the selling points for me was the person I spoke to on the phone. I had a better conversation with the agency that I ended up going with than any of the others. I mean, there was a close second and third place, and I may work with them in the future, but really, I clicked with them, and I felt like we had a connection. it was easy to talk to them, no pressure kind of situation. The ball was in my court to decide what I wanted to do. So, next, a big piece of advice: when you are narrowing down which agency you want to work with, I was actually able to submit with 2 different agencies. I've heard that nurses will do that, and not so much pit agencies against each other, because that's not really what it is. It's giving you more of an opportunity, so your eggs aren't all in one basket. For example, I had 7 applications in with my first choice agency. About 3 weeks or so out from my chosen start date, or what I had said, I'm willing to start and be relocated at this date, I wasn't hearing back from most of these hospitals. I ended up hearing from 2 from the agency I went with. Now, I spoke to another agent that I had a good relationship with, and she said, you're allowed to submit with us as well, as long as you don't duplicate where your applications are, because apparently that looks bad for you or whatever. So the hospitals can see that you've applied multiple times through different agencies. So you would need to keep track of which hospitals you are submitted to, and once your application is submitted, then it should not be repeated, and you should tell the next agency, you should give them a list of the hospitals that you've already submitted to. That being said, different agencies have different affiliations and relationships with different hospital systems. So the one just so happened to have more connections in the Boston area. And the other really did not at all. So it really broadens your opportunity there. So just a last few things I would like you to think about, I think is really important in your decision making. Ask yourself, where do you want to live? At first I thought, okay, I'm going to live smack dab in the city. But if you know yourself, and I guess part of this whole travel thing is that you are getting to know yourself, or you know yourself pretty well so that you can do this on your own. I am not a city girl. I never have been. I lived in Philadelphia for 2 years just out of necessity for school, and I kind of had enough of it. I don't desire to go back to the city. So with that city life, you have to be thinking, okay, traffic for your commute, like it's not as easy to get your supplies, your groceries, and whatnot. And if you're doing night shift, is it going to be quiet enough for you to sleep? Are you going to have neighbors? Is it apartment style living that you're going to have people that might be disrupting your sleep or your odd schedules? So, just common sense kind of stuff, but it's something to consider. Do you really want to be living in a city? For me, it worked out great that I was just outside of the city. So, but in still a developed enough area to feel like I can go out and do things for fun that are enjoyable, without being completely secluded. So I can have the lifestyle I want with the crazy hours that we have. Up here, they just so happen to have a lot of 8-hour shifts in this area. It's like a Northeast thing. So I'm used to those 12s, but more days a week that I'm going to have to be sleeping during the day. So something to consider. So I'm going to stop here and continue with maybe some more questions for you to drill those agencies with when you're really deciding who to go with. I'll jot some more ideas down, and just leave me your feedback. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to ask. I'm kind of new to all this, but I want to share my experience, and I'll try to share a little bit of like the personal side of it. I think that's important too. At the end of the day, we're not just nurses, right? So I have a personal life, and that's definitely directly affected by this career decision. So thanks for watching, and I will be back soon.